Halloween's around the corner. We gotta really we gotta work.
Season, baby.
Welcome to the Devil's Work podcast. The only podcast where we're blind to the trauma at this point. So
yeah, dead inside, baby.
Feeling nothing.
Yeah, we feel nothing, so you can feel something later.
Yeah.
We just love to dissect films in which there is usually a dissection. Mm-hmm. And my name is Skeptik, and I'm joined by my two lovely co-hosts, Sideshow and Evelyn.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
And tonight's offering is a French movie from 2009 called La Horde.
La Horde.
The Horde.
The Horde.
You know, you would think, weirdly, I have all the, I'm looking at a page about it, and it had all the information but the director's name. It's
really
two co-writers and directors, Yannick Dahan and Benjamin Rocher.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I like these team movies as part of a writing team.
Yeah.
I like seeing that actually work out in the world. I'm like, okay, we're not ridiculous for doing it this way.
No, absolutely not. I think what is this the second one we've covered that has a pair of no, I don't think we've covered
there
one
were
that has
three directors.
Oh, that's
for
right. Fair
Man
enough.
Bites Dog.
Man Bites Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's teamwork in France.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I guess so. This is a really interesting one because it almost is more of an action movie in a lot of ways. And I kind of remembered it as not having a lot of substance, but being fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when watching it this time, I was like, oh my God, there's actually a lot under the hood here. A lot going on. So I actually failed to put together the trigger warnings. We were just talking about it. I should have written it down. But
I mean,
I know Evelyn's got it.
I mean, yeah.
Violence, gore, gun violence for sure.
Yeah.
Stabbing. Definitely stabbing. Gun and knife violence.
Use of the hard R words, man.
Racism.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that about covers it. I think
there's allusion to war crimes and sexual assault.
Yeah. Definitely discussions about it.
Yeah. There's some pretty gross misogyny in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, again, we're the Men Are Trash podcast.
Yeah. We don't like cops. We don't like fuckboys.
No, absolutely not.
So
I loved the aspect, like you said, though. It feels more like an action movie at times, whereas we're getting into it, bro. It gets you get your heart pounding with this motherfucker. It's really fun. It's super fun.
It does that thing really well where there's a scenario unfolding already. It's gearing up to be a different movie, and then they're like, psych, it's zombies.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The whole originality of that fucking premise of just the beginning of how it starts off with I could have watched that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I could have watched that movie.
100%.
We were talking about how this is a successful version of there's a movie that came out after this movie. It's called The Vault, and it's about a bank robbery. And the robbery is unfolding, and then you find out that the bank vault is haunted by ghosts.
Which is awesome. That's an awesome concept. But
they didn't quite if everyone had been menaced by the ghosts without good guys or bad guys, everyone's in trouble. That would have worked a lot better. But the ghosts were trying to help the good guys.
I kind of like the pulling apart of the morality and the I think the way that I pitched it to both of you, and just the way that for years I've told people about this movie, is it's cops and robbers and zombies.
Exactly.
And it's just this.
I was I'm fucking sold, bro. Say literally less. Let's throw this bitch on.
It just translates and moves so quickly from they're killing each other. They're just they've have this Mexican standoff going on, and people are bleeding and people are dying and they, all these things are going on. And then they're just like, oh, shit, zombies. I don't know, bro. I guess we got to team up.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they play it so well with, like, the way... Like, it's not an easy team up. And the drama continues to unfold, and all the characters continue to build, even in this, like, silly-ass setting. And it is funny, like I said, to revisit it and be like, oh, no, there's a lot going on. Especially with, like... Man Bites Dog really just gave us, like, a really interesting, like, strange, ground-level kind of view of a lot of things. And, like, the mention of gentrification in Man Bites Dog, and then, obviously, gentrification has a lot to do with like, the setting in La Horde and why it's so dilapidated and why they're so remote. And why these criminals are able to do these things here, and they do comment on it in little ways as the movie goes on. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. It has so much to say, which at first glance, like you said, it just feels like a really fun action, like zombie movie. That just kind of feels like that's how you get your foot in the door. But it's like it's got a little more than that. You know what I mean? There's a little more than that, like right underneath the surface. And I appreciated that a lot, especially because this was my second time watching this one, because the first time I watched it, I just got it because you would recommend it, because I'm like, that sounds cool as shit. Like, I'm just jumping on this. And like watching it and like taking notes on it, like it made me appreciate that, like the substance that was in here between the characters, like a lot more for sure.
My appreciation for it has grown since last Thursday. I'll put it that way. I've seen it twice now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, though, you want to kick this shit off?
Let's get into it. So, like we said, short synopsis: cops, robbers, zombies.
That's all you need.
There's some police decide to do some sort of extrajudicial mission, let us say.
An extracurricular project.
Yep. And
after
it blows,
school hours.
And it blows up in their face quite literally. And, just in the nick of time, zombies start coming into the picture, which honestly kind of saved their life, prolonged their lives, rather, I should say.
Yeah, prolonged.
But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that we get moving forward.
Absolutely.
So there's actually, I'll start with the trivia. There's a prequel.
What the fuck?
What?
There's a short film called Rivelin.
Oh, that's the guy.
That came out the year before. Yeah, and it's about how he dies.
Nice. Well, he looks pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
He's in La Horde, but he's a dead body.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the movie, they just find him in a dump. Just like in a trash dump.
I love how this movie starts with no one explaining shit for like 10 minutes. Nobody talks, and you're like, okay, I see what's going on, but like, what is going on?
Everyone's so like stern, and their jaw is so set. It's just like, they would all benefit from when you're scrolling and you see that meme that's like, relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw.
Exactly.
So good.
But yeah, we just get all this imagery pretty much at the beginning, kind of like starting to build up towards his funeral and sort of like tell us the story without telling us of like, yeah, this cop got killed. You can tell by the funeral that it's like a cop's funeral, and we just see
nobody's crying at the funeral. Everyone's just like power staring at everyone else, and everyone's wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah, everyone's just like, you want me to cry for a pig?
Yeah,
dude, but they're all cops.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Yeah,
I wrote down meerkats. It was just silent, and they're all just like one character.
At attention.
And like you can't even tell like the angles at the beginning. You're just like watching pairs of people look at each other and then turn and look at someone that's 10 feet over there, and then they look over at the cop's wife, and everyone's just looking at each other, and you're like, somebody fucking say something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's like 8 people trying to be like the cool loner, like Wolverine showing up to
There's
like
not enough room in the
another
cemetery.
X-Man's funeral, you know? Everyone's like standing by a tree distantly.
Exactly.
Everyone's picked different
Everyone's
trees.
doing that at the same time. I brought an umbrella. It's not even raining, but I have it.
And then it's just like, how do we have a conversation? We just need to bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when they start talking, it quickly comes together. Like they're, everyone's quiet discussions about the wife of the guy who died is like, I know you guys are gonna do something, don't do it. And they're like, all right, but we're gonna do it.
Okay. But what if I did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a plan afoot.
She's basically like, don't do it, and then they're like, we're gonna do it anyway. And Wes, the main character, she says, promise to bring them all back safe and sound, and they like mention how they're like a family a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that like quickly falls apart.
Yeah, they're definitely not a family.
Yeah. And then she tells Jimenez, kill the bastards who did it, promise me you'll kill them all, every last one.
But don't go.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Fuck, I know.
It's all right. She has mixed feelings.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense because it's like it's a lot in that.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to like do this stuff outside of the law, but at the same time you're like,
If you're gonna do it, do it right.
It would be so easy to like wield this power in this broken way.
Yeah.
I just really want to see these guys. They just wear leather jackets through the whole at the funeral, and then on their mission, they're dressed.
They are leather daddies, bro.
Yeah, I just want to see them in constable uniforms with a little hat, like
That's
at
so
work.
funny.
Their
Oi,
little,
what's going on here?
yeah, their little French police outfits. You never get to see them like legitimately dressed for their jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're basically criminals.
I never got the impression that they were like cops to
They
begin
don't
with.
feel like cops at any point. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's when they tell you that you realize that they're cops.
Yeah.
You're
Honestly,
like, oh, super shady.
Which kind of works though, because at the beginning, like you don't really know what kind of movie you're in for. So once after this, when they start to approach the like high rise or project building where they are, and they're all wearing like balaclavas or ski masks or whatever.
It's such cool. I put very cool sets and costumes. Like the sets in this are fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
especially as it goes on, the sets just get like better and better and better.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They just get, and it gets like smaller and smaller and smaller as it,
all these
as
tight
it
hallways.
goes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but this could have purely been a gangster movie, and I would have been fine with that. Like right away, it just gets it looks so cool.
It's very
I love
gritty.
me a heist movie, and this just felt like a fucking heist movie, like a gangster type situation going on in the beginning of this, and I was like, I'm fucking in, dude. And what are you talking about? What the fuck are zombies doing in this?
Yeah,
so cool.
It takes off in such a way, but it's like the lack of explanation. I really enjoy that the first like 15 minutes of the movie are really confusing.
They keep it at a minimum.
Yeah, so when all these badass loners finally join up with each other and start to like descend on this building, you're like confused. You're like, is this a rival gang? Like, you know what I mean? With all this like family talk, you're like,
exactly. It felt like the raid.
Yeah, totally. So you're like, okay, is what exactly? Obviously, revenge is the motive, but how justified is it? Is kind of what you're wondering. And then
the answer is not at all.
Yeah, totally. And I really like that as they're like casing the joint on the outside, you see like the sentries, and they have a dog. And the dog is like looking out and barking out into like the distance, and they're just like, "Oh, shut up, whatever." Yeah. I really like that like small little like natural touch of foreshadowing without having to like go somewhere else or set up something just to set up that moment. It just like fits in really seamlessly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like how they haven't decided, like they decided their game plan more or less when they come up on this apartment building. But they haven't agreed on the rules because they're like, sneaking up on the guard and knocking him out.
Oh yeah.
And they're just gonna like tie him up. And then one of the other guys comes up and he's like, "No, you don't fucking get it." And he like stabs the guy to death. They're like, "No, we're gonna kill everybody." And they haven't agreed that that's what they're gonna do or not. So they're already fighting when they get there.
Yeah.
Wes is clearly there to be like the Jiminy Cricket. You know what I mean? Come on, Padok, don't slit that man's throat. He's knocked unconscious. Just bind him up instead.
But Jimenez has other plans in mind.
Oh my god. That's a really good like jolts though, I think, of like you get a firm standing of who the characters are by their actions and stuff. I think it's really cool that they kind of like establish right off the bat, we don't really fully agree with this.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and like not knowing who they are yet, it's like things are a little more in the balance.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not sure how to feel about even that at that point where you're like, okay.
It's not like there's not two sides. There's good guys and bad guys. There's like 16 sides for each character. It's like, no, we're gonna do what I want to do.
yeah, exactly. It becomes very like individualistic very quickly. As soon as there's no sides, there's no cohesion. It just becomes a free for all. That's a fantastic point that you just made.
Yep,
it's very faceted. Yeah.
So as they go in, they come across the super, and he's got a shotgun, and they have like a little bit of a standoff, and then they tell him that they're cops, and like I think they flash a badge, and he's like, oh, well, these guys are, pieces of shit, and this
His
place
tenants
has been falling apart. Yeah, they're like, I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like the drug dealers that they're here to shoot are the only people in the building.
That's kind of
like,
what it
oh yeah,
seems
you're
like.
here for my two tenants.
Yeah.
They live on floor 10.
For some reason, They're somewhere on the 14th fucking floor.
You get the sense that like he doesn't work for anybody anymore, but he just lives there because he doesn't have anywhere else to go. Like because he says he used to be the super.
Yeah.
So it's just like this place is so dilapidated that it seems to like truly be isolated from society.
It's amazing that the lights are on.
Yeah, like everyone who lives here is basically squatting, himself included, but he used to work there. It's like kind of the sense that I get.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
I gotta say, if he was actually holding that shotgun the way he was holding it in front of a bunch of cops, he would be dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he's just kind of like, oh, hey,
waving it around.
Who are you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, hey guys, didn't see that. Come on in.
I guess the only reason he didn't get shot is they were trying to be quiet so that they could
kill everyone
get their
else.
Guys. Yeah, he's like, they live in apartment G. See you later, because like he doesn't like them either.
Yeah. And then he just wanders off.
Yeah, and he's like, who are those guys? This is my building.
As they're going up the flights of stairs to Wes sees a woman who just like they have this weird like non-threatening standoff. And it's sort of like you're thinking like, is she a sentry for them? Is she just also kind of like squatting here, like what's her story? And then she walks away, and you know that if it was Jimenez, he would have just killed her for the possibility of that.
I think she was a janitor. She seemed like, I mean, I thought she was like it doesn't make sense that building would have a cleaning lady, but like that's what I read her as, because I think she had like a bucket or something with her. She just seemed like a janitor to me.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that also just makes me think, because the building is so dilapidated and everything around it is so like messed up. It seems like it could have been literally just like getting a bucket to gather rainwater for just like various stuff. So it feels that bleak. In this place,
Absolutely.
like they really want to paint this picture.
She was totally she saw a bunch of guys in ski masks with guns, and she was just like,
she's just like whatever.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, is it Tuesday again?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they go upstairs and they continue on to the outside of the apartment, and they start to get ready, and I think it is Jimenez who starts like putting C4 on the door.
Serious putty.
Jesus.
Yeah.
As opposed to silly putty.
Serious putty.
That's pretty funny. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, someone on Reddit probably was like, what is the opposite of silly putty? I think it's serious putty. That is called C4, my friend.
That's hilarious.
Credit to whoever said that.
That's fucking amazing.
But he's like on his knees, like putting this together to like blow the door open, which seems like so extra and unnecessary.
Just kick the door in.
Excessive as fuck.
It's made of cardboard anyway.
Yeah, it's truly, it's like, it's such a like slapdash construction of a building, and you see
like
that
if you look at it wrong, it's just gonna blow up.
Yeah. Which again goes back to like, you think it's such a like just a silly action movie with zombies, but like it ends up making so many statements on like the discrepancy between not even rich and poor, but just like poor and middle class, of just like
exactly. The scope is narrowed for that, for sure.
They push us all over here, like you have, you know, all the criminals are from different countries and stuff, and it's just like all these places that, you know, European colonialism has touched in one way or another, and they're all just like, yeah, bro, so we're just here doing unmentioned, unspecified criminal activities.
Doing crimes.
Exactly, doing crimes.
Doing crime. Be gay, do crimes.
Be gay, do crimes.
to which I think Marcuti would say, "Bola."
Yeah.
So
Dude,
they're sitting
Bola's
there.
fucking trigger happy in this motherfucker. Man.
Oh hell yeah!
Love him.
They just love yelling at each other.
Yeah, they love it.
This is my favorite, dynamic in the whole thing.
So they're setting up the C4, and I think they're like having just a little bit of a conversation in the hallway. Like, they're not being loud, but they're just like, when we go in there, we gotta go in there hard, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden they just hear from down the hallway the super, and they turn, and he's just like, hey, take the shotgun, it'll really blow them away, it'll really mess them up. And they're all just like, yeah, shut up, idiot, get out of here.
Get the fuck out.
And as they're yelling at him, the criminals inside realize what's going on, and just happen, as they fire through the door, to hit the C4, and it explodes in Jimenez's face.
So good, dude.
Yeah, and he just gets it.
He just gets evaporated, bro.
Yep, and Tony gets shot in the leg, and they all come out, and they just grab everybody, drag them all inside, and just line them up against the wall, ready to kill everybody. And they reveal that they have a CI that they've the phrasing that comes to mind is fingered, but obviously that's going to get laughed at. They have a CI that they've identified in their crew.
We're 12 years old.
I know. Fingerprints.
Oh, so he was part of their crew?
Yeah, the CI, the confidential informant. So that's how that works. Is I've seen The Wire a couple times, and so basically, if you're like a low level guy and you get caught for something, they'll be like, okay, we know everything about you. We have you for this crime. At any time, we can just come and get you. Yeah. So for an unspecified amount of time. Go do this dangerous
thing for us.
Yeah, exactly. Where he's already a part of the gang, but then they just get shit on him so that he has to flip. Right. But in a way where, like, he's out in the open still. So it's like, you don't want, you have to be careful not to reveal him while you're doing these things. It has to be like, how did they find us? Oh, I don't know. Not just like, well, they always know after I tell this dude.
Yeah.
So when they killed Revolin, they figured out who the CI was, because Revolin must have used the information from this guy to try and come.
When our guys get pulled in, he's already like tied up in their bathroom.
Yeah, with the bag around his head and everything.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, well, all the cops are here now, so that we really don't like gain anything from torturing and extorting this guy anymore. So they just execute him in front of them. Fuck him. Yeah, they're just like, this is what we're gonna do to all of you now. Yeah. And just absolutely murder that dude.
So our criminal gang is Ade is the leader.
Yeah, Adewale.
Yeah, and his little brother Bola.
Mm-hmm.
Bola's a shit, man.
Who is, as we said, trigger happy. And then there's Jose, the little Harvey Keitel looking gangster dude. The one who wears a suit. Everyone else is in leather jackets, and this guy is like, my shitty suit. It's like a trashy suit.
The birth really of the evil man bun.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but he kind of looks like my friend Arliss, a rapper from Seattle. Dude. He's amazing. Shout out to Arliss. Arliss is way prettier, though. I gotta say.
Yeah, this is the guy in the gang who, like, hand-to-hand combat for sure is like his preference. He's just like, he fights really dirty. And then there's the Czech.
Oh yeah.
Who speaks Czech and is just like he's like their PA basically.
Yeah, he's just screaming, and they're I think
the subtitle said speaks Czech.
Yeah.
Speaks Czech.
And one of the other guys was like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying all the time, man. Shut up. Shut up and move the bodies.
The subtitles didn't either.
And this room that they're in becomes the site of so many set pieces, like, so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, they shot in this room for, like, quite a good amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you really think about it. It's like the whole, like, I don't know, like, the more than half of the first act is in this room.
Yeah, because it takes them a while to figure out what the fuck is going on with each other.
Yeah, and we keep cutting back to the sentries outside, and the dog runs away from them, and they're just like, okay, well, fuck you then, dog, whatever. Like, they don't really care that much.
The dog's like, I can't do the criminal life anymore. Goodbye.
I'm a good boy.
I'm a good boy.
Fuck. And then, of course, we get the classic, like, dog whimper way far away, and those guys are like, yo, what is happening here? And we keep getting these, like, creepy little, like, low ground shots of sort of, like, shadows coming by and all this stuff. And
that's such a good fucking introduction.
Oh,
it's so
like atmospheric and slow boil.
Yeah, if you didn't know this was gonna be a zombie movie, you would be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. So it was really fun for me, like, watching Amanda's reactions and seeing her be like, "What is going on here?"
Oh wow! So she went in completely blind then. Huh?
Yeah. I shoot with all of these movies she does because I just don't say anything. I'm just like, yeah, this is the movie.
That's such a great experience.
Yeah,
to go in so blind.
So fun. Yeah, especially this one. This must have been so much fun for her.
Oh, this was a lot of fun. And we watched it with my friend Dylan because he was here. Our other friend Malcolm got married last weekend, and so Dylan lives in Texas, and he's my writing partner. Yeah, shout out to Malcolm and his wife Maggie.
Hell yeah.
So he came and stayed with us for a few days, and we did like a 2-person table read of some of our scripts, and we watched this movie all together.
Fun, dude.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. All
Super
three of us,
fun. This is a good crowd movie, man. This is a really good crowd movie.
It is. It really is, and it was so fun to like revisit it because me and him definitely watched it together as teenagers.
Oh, fun!
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so to do it again now.
When I watched it again the other night, DDA sat down and watched it with me, and yeah, he really enjoyed it.
Yeah, DDA was talking about it today when I walked in. He was just like, "That was so much fun."
He pointed out, when the C4 blasts the door, and there's like this ridiculously big hole in the door, and then they close it anyway for a little privacy.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, what is closing it?
And it looks like he's like, I can't stop looking at it. It looks like a gaping mouth. And then there's like a little hole that looks like an eye. He's like, it looks like a face.
DDA can point out the most fun
he's a visionary.
shit. Yeah, he's such a good fucking like person to talk to about movies. I love it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get him on the pod. We're gonna definitely get him on the pod.
With the film of his choice. Whatever he wants to talk about.
He's fun, dude. He's so much fun to talk to. All right, dude. Yeah, so
we keep cutting back and forth between this sort of standoff and just the building tension outside, and the sentries, the dog runs off, we hear the dog whimper, we hear a couple like explosions in the distance, and the dudes are just like, what the fuck, and they run inside and they chain up the front door, and you can just see, I think what they do is it's like this reverse shot where we're looking through the door at their faces. But then the door is reflecting like the skyline of like Paris proper, and we can see like all these kind of like explosions going off.
And the reflections,
like a war-torn capital.
Yeah, and it seems less like bombs going off and more like electrical substations. Like
all
it
like
seems
failing
more,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like society collapsing. Like you can tell it's not like an alien invasion or something. You know what I mean? Like it's a very specific sort of like horrible dread that they're building up there. And I
kind of put that the reflections helped with like the CGI as well. Like I felt like that also lent very it
Oh,
worked.
the CGI in this movie is surprisingly like restrained and well done.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's very exactly. There's not like a whole lot. They don't go over the top. The practical effects though, oh my god, they're so good. The practical in this movie are fucking great.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about like that room for sure was just like literally all four corners of that room.
Just like
every inch, baby.
And it goes to show like how much you can do with it's like a bottle episode for a minute, and it's just this crazy like you know, all of this is going on outside, and then they start to hear like the explosions and everything, and they're like, what the fuck is going on out there? Like, what is any of this?
By this time they've I think Ade, the leader of the gang, has executed Jimenez.
Yeah, because he was like barely alive.
He was
after
dying,
the
but then he shot him in the head because they were like, they realized, the gang was like, so why the fuck are you guys here? And they're like, for revenge for our guy. And they're like, oh, well, that's dumb of you. So, you know, let's finish this guy off.
Not very chill, bro.
Yeah, they kill the CI and then they kill him. And then they're kind of getting ready to kill everybody else. But then there's that sort of like general confusion of like, what is all this going on outside? And then there starts to be like a growling from behind the bathroom door.
That's so cool.
And they're all just like, what the fuck is going on over here?
And they're like, go check it out.
And they send the check over there.
Check. Just got that.
And I think what happens is he like opens the door and everything's chill, and he turns around and he's just like, I don't know, guys. And then the corpse gets up with the bag around his head still.
The biggest zombie you've ever seen.
Cool. Yeah, he's fucking beefy, bro.
Huge.
The tank.
Exactly. I was like, fuck, if you're opening up with like a tank zombie, like what the fuck else is going to happen?
Yeah, like the battle to stop this zombie, he bites two people.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
Because there was like an Asian guy in the group as well who was probably Vietnamese. If we're building off this sort of like places that France
has he met his neighbor?
Yes.
The neighbor downstairs.
Exactly.
Because holy shit.
Jesus Christ, that fucking
Anyway,
dude,
that's foreshadowing of some
that
bullshit later on.
Guy, dude. Oh my god.
I think that guy would have been dead if they ever met. Someone would have been dead. But yeah, so they both get bit, which I thought was interesting. That sort of like
bit in half, basically.
Yeah, outside of the Nigerian brothers, like those two are sort of the most foreign, like in terms, which I know is like a weird thing to like quantify.
Yeah, no,
but in terms of like,
it makes sense. Yeah,
from the farthest away, the Asian guy, and he also didn't really have any lines, and then the Czech guy. All these other people have a common language, and they don't even have a common language with this dude. Yeah, so it's like kind of interesting in a way that those two are the ones that like get grabbed, and it's sort of because of their positions in the gang. You know,
damn.
But the fact that they've been a gang this long speaks to they have better team dynamic than our fucking cop crew.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
They suck. They're so bad at everything.
It's ACAB all day, every day, bro.
All day.
Of our quote unquote question mark heroes, the cops, there are 3 left.
Yes.
There's Wes, there's Aurora, and Tony.
And Tony, who's wounded already.
Yeah.
And so they all band together to kill this zombie.
This mega zombie.
And all the criminals
they line up and they shoot him approximately 79 times. They use up all their ammo right up top on this one fucking guy.
It's funny too because it's one of the cases where it like works for me doing that up top of a zombie movie where it's like
because they don't know what a zombie is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We
have no
established
context
that
for
zombies aren't well known and aren't a known thing in this universe.
Yeah, they were just doing their little like standoff thing quietly in their apartment, and then this huge guy with a garbage bag on his head comes in and starts eating people, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly.
What drugs is he taking? Can we get them?
Can I have some?
Right.
Yeah, and it's just by chance that eventually I think Ade shoots him in the head and blows his head off with a shotgun, and they're like, oh, that did it.
Yeah, they just get to the point where it's like nothing else is working. I'll go for it because it's not necessarily the first thing you like think of to shoot things in the head.
And this is a good example of the kind of guy that Jose is. Everyone else is shooting him, and he's like, "I'll give this a shot." He goes over and starts kicking him.
Yeah,
he's very hands-on.
Yeah, Jose gets a full-on scene in a bit.
Yeah,
I think there's a good little shot there too where the two cops and Tony together are all kicking.
Oh yeah, they're all beating the shit out of him. That's right. Yeah.
Or not Tony. Sorry.
Is it Bola?
It says Greco here.
Oh, Greco. Gotcha.
Who's Greco?
That's what it. I know that's not what it said in any of the subtitles for the character's name.
Yes.
You mean the guy in the suit?
Yeah, it says Greco, and I'm like, that doesn't.
Yeah, in the subtitles, they called him Joe, and then here it says, and the actor's name is Joe Prestia as Jose.
Yeah, you're right.
So
and Antoine as Tony. I feel like they're like kind of using their own names to some degree.
Piggybacking off the names for sure.
Yeah. For some of them.
That like whatever, I can't expect you to remember. Yeah, so
and Bola is played by Dudu Masta, which is the coolest name ever.
It's badass, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Wes, Aurora, and Jose at one point they're all just like jumping the zombie. I think after everyone
their gang.
I think after everyone else unloads, and while they're all freaking out, and then the other two zombies get up. And so,
the former gang members, now zombies.
So that's when like the cops get involved because it just becomes like they're all so fucked.
Yeah.
The way he reaches out and just snaps the Czech's neck.
Yeah,
and then just rips into him with his teeth is like.
And then later they're like when they're like hiding somewhere, one of them says, "They killed the Czech, man. They killed the Czech." That's his name.
That's just his name.
Yeah.
I wonder how long he was in the gang.
Like 15 years.
Yeah. 15 years of good service.
Good service.
So they
do the other ones run off the zombies, or do they kill them?
They kill all the ones in that room. Mm-hmm. And then they get attacked from outside.
That's
and
right.
they like shoot down the hallway and then start running down the other side.
Oh yeah, and the super gets shot to death when the gang first comes out in the hallway. They shoot the super to death, and then he comes back as a zombie.
Yeah, he's the one who comes in through the hallway. That's what I was trying to remember was exactly when he died. But he comes in through that like gaping mouth of the doorway.
I think he drags the Czech off down the hallway.
Yeah, he does. And they're all like hella confused as to why, and that ends up becoming more of a plot point later. But that's the first time we see them like drag a body away,
which I've never seen a zombie do.
Yeah,
in another movie.
Very cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah, very cool. Like decision to do that.
Yeah.
So they just go running like chaotically, pretty much to the roof, and as they run, like a huge horde comes up behind them, and it's like
Le Horde.
Yes. It's like filling the hallway almost with zombies. Like they're so outnumbered and run to the rooftop and hold up there, and obviously over time the zombies like no brain function. They just they're like nothing's happening, so they just
nothing to
so
prey
they just
drive
leave.
on.
Yeah, so they just leave again. And when we see the shots of like the city itself, we can see that there's like this big narrow like singular bridge road connecting where they are to like the main city. So it's just like this funnel that all of these undead are coming through as like the city itself
They're
is
just
falling.
pouring out of the city.
Terrifying fucking imagery.
Yeah.
Which is so messed up to think, but like the woman who told them all, you know, like all those conflicting things, like all of those people are probably dead. Everyone they know are like already dead before any of this like pops off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the fact that they're all looking out at this destruction and just like, holy shit. And then Jose is just lighting a cigarette and he looks like he couldn't it doesn't mean a goddamn thing to him. He's like, oh, okay.
That's new.
Yeah.
Burn it all. Burn.
Nothing phases this guy.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, Jose's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, when they shot the CI to death, he was like, "Hey man, my suit. You got shit on my suit."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of hilarious foreshadowing in terms of like they all just get so covered in viscera.
Yeah,
it just happens
exactly.
in these situations.
Yeah.
But then they come to sort of like a formal agreement. And
that's right.
All this great tough dialogue they go through.
Yeah,
hey,
Tony
man,
and
we're gonna need to team up because it's Cadaver City all the way down.
So good. So
God, they're just trying really hard to win the big pee-pee contest.
It's true.
God damn it.
But yeah, then they just come to this like very pragmatic decision of like, well, we have to band together at this point, and Tony and Aurora hate it, and Bola and Jose hate it, but Marcuti and Wes are like, yeah, we get it, as like sort of the two leaders in this situation. And Adwale is like, yeah, you need to get your people in line, like, you know,
Put a
we don't
leash
have
on your crew.
Yeah, we don't have guns for you, but we won't kill you, essentially.
That's fucking wild.
It's like a very informal, like loose alliance.
Yeah.
And then after waiting a while, they decide like it must be cool to go down, so they start going down. And
little did they know.
They go back to their apartment, right?
Yeah, to try and retrieve all the weapons that are there, because they know that that's where their guns are. And then as they're like getting their stuff, they get attacked again, and that's when Tony and Aurora get separated.
They have a little bit of an argument while they're gathering their shit together, because Aurora's really angry that they've teamed up, and she's like, "What are you doing? This is your fault." And he's like, "Actually, it's your fault, because you were banging." What's his name? The guy who died at the beginning.
Revolin.
Yeah, who was married.
Yeah,
So-
which I didn't like even clock at the very beginning. Only now, like as we're going through it.
I didn't fully understand it the first time. What the entire, because I didn't realize that he was married. I forgot that part.
Yeah.
So she was sleeping with him, and she told him that she's pregnant, and then he got freaked out about that, and he went and did this dangerous thing and got killed. And Wes is basically like, Aurora, this is all your fucking fault. You shouldn't have been doing any of this. And she's just like, she's feeling very alone. And she's like, who told you that? Was it Tony? And Tony's like, yeah, it was me. And then they get separated, and she's alone with Tony.
Oh,
so
yeah,
the vibe isn't good.
You're totally right, but like between that and them getting separated, as like the cops are kind of like picking up their guns, and they're like realizing like, hey, all the bodies are gone that were in here.
True, yeah.
And then they like mentioned that the super had been
Where did they go?
Had been pulling that one body, the check, and then all the criminals just start fucking tooting up, just getting keyed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey man, you want some? Like, it's gonna help your reaction times out there, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's entirely accurate.
I don't know, that's true.
And Tony is like pale as shit, bleeding out from his femoral artery, like, yeah, let me get him up. And yeah, so they all get a little high, just a little high,
just a little.
And then they get separated, those two, and as everyone's like running away, they get to sort of like a security door before the like the stairwell, and Jose gets trapped outside of the door. Everyone else like makes it in.
So good.
Dude, this is a fucking crazy scene.
Yeah, and he just goes hand to hand with the two
Bare
zombies.
knuckle boxing on them bitches, bro.
And it's so like well choreographed and believable. And he like headbutts them a couple times, and he's like got them ramming into each other.
Yeah,
and like,
dude.
I wasn't even worried about him. He's just such a crazy fucker.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he's like, a noble opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's
That's
clearly
so
getting
funny.
off on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
He's not worried about his suit anymore.
No.
Yeah, he's just having a good time. And it only like breaks down for him when he starts to notice that there's like a bigger group of zombies coming down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
he did actually manage to best them, the two zombies at the same time. He laid them down on top of each other, and he just stabbed them through the heads.
That was cool as shit.
Yeah.
Until they were like pulverized.
That's super fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the larger group starts coming, and he runs to the door, and he's like, "Hey, let me in! I fucking killed him! Like, open the door!" and as they're letting him through, he gets bitten on the leg.
That's fucking that's wild. I was like, damn, they took the boy out, bro.
So now we've got Wes is the only cop with them, and we don't see the other two for a little while.
Yeah, and he's pissed. He's like, we got to go back for. He doesn't really mention Tony so much. He's just like, we got to help Aurora, and basically Ade's like,
have fun.
You better hope she's got balls or she's dead.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We forgot to mention they do take the super shotgun. Ade does, and then when Jose's trying to get through the door, he like smashes through the glass on the door and just fires the shotgun like down into the crowd of zombies.
It's fucking crazy.
So like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And then was that where they were together, Aurora and Tony? I'm getting lost in the sauce.
No, it's
so
bound to happen. There's so much going on.
So those two are together, but we don't see them again for a minute. Like that was we saw them argue with everyone, then we saw Tony decide to get high, and
I'm trying to remember the moment when Aurora is like fighting the one woman zombie. On her own.
That's later. Okay. We come back.
Okay.
We come back to that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So now it's just Wes with the criminals, and Bola and Jose are basically like, let's just fucking kill this dude. And Ade's like, there's no reason. And Bola's getting all weird and like hyper violent, and Ade keeps like infantilizing him essentially. But it's
he's like, you'd be dead without me. All the time he says this to Bola.
Yeah, he's like, you need to stop, like, all this tough guy act, like, all this, which is so funny coming from someone who's, like, the head of, a gang.
Yeah, exactly.
But clearly, Bola has wanted to be, treated as an equal, as, like, two brothers leading a gang, or he's wanted to be in charge. He's been itching to, like, have more power than he's had.
He's a sensitive
for a long
type.
time. This has been bothering him.
Absolutely. Totally. The dynamic, and Jose like preys upon that. Like, you can tell he's such a shit disturber.
Yeah.
Where it's
he's like, don't let him talk to you like that.
Yeah.
You gonna take that, bro?
It's so ridiculous. He's just such a shitty dude.
Yeah.
And so they continue on, and as they continue on, there's like a huge hole blown in the side of the building, which is like such a beautiful piece of set design. And initially, I didn't realize it was from an explosive. I just thought that was supposed to be like sort of a statement on how decrepit this building was.
Oh yeah.
But then they like very quickly are like, somebody fucking blew a hole over here. Oh, and also a little bit earlier in the film, they hear a bang in the distance and they're like, "Yo, what was that?"
That's right.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that just clicked right now for me.
I didn't catch that the first time either. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a bang far away, and at the time you're like, "Is there like?" more huge zombies? What's going on?
That's what gives you the impression that, like, I think first initially someone watching it, they're like, oh, the city's just exploding and, like, things are happening outside because you hear that. But like you said, it just looks like power outages, and, like, that explosion just happened to be happening in the building at that time. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's actually that's neat.
It might have even been what set off the horde of the zombies
to
that are
be
in
able
the building
to attract them. Yeah, exactly.
And they keep going on, and they find just this huge, just blood-covered man with an axe just hacking away at a zombie.
That's fucking guy,
it's like so uncertain for a moment whether he's one of them or not, and he just starts dragging the axe over towards them, and they're all telling him to stop and pointing the guns at him, and he just comes up and, like a batshit old man, he's just like, "Hey! Racial slurs!" And everyone's just like, "Oh, this guy's all right, I guess."
Immediately, like, Evelyn and I looked at each other like, "Fuck this dude."
Do we have a counter on? He has one slur that he loves to use, and he used it. He said it like fucking 23 times.
It's for people of Asian descent.
Suffice to say, I think he fought in Vietnam, probably.
So that's what I thought, but because he specifically says later that it reminds him of Ben Den Phu, he was in the first Indochina War.
Okay.
Yeah,
and he's still in it to this day.
Yep, and you can tell
he brought all his weapons home with him.
Jesus fucking
You can
Christ,
tell, and
dude.
as he's like tells them, "Oh, we can get Jose patched up, and we can get more weapons for you guys. Like, let's go, follow me." And they start following him to his apartment, and he just keeps kind of going into saying all these weird racist things about the zombies and talking about, back there when I was in Ben Den Phu, I didn't have enough explosives, so I made sure that I've been making enough over the years. Just hinting that he's just that he just got a ton of bombs. And he takes them into his place, and it's so strangely put together for the rest of the apartment complex. Which, again, the set design is just like so masterful.
It's phenomenal.
This film, like every room, like tells such a story. And so he's says he's gonna help all of them out. They're all kind of resting for a moment. He has Jose laying down. He's got his leg exposed. He comes in with some alcohol, pours it all over his axe.
That shit was so good.
And then cocks back and gets ready, and Jose's like, yo, what are you doing?
And my boy.
And he's like, I'm gonna cut it off. You don't want to become one of them, do you?
He's like, what
and
the
he's
fuck,
like,
bro? Like, done.
And he's just like, yo, what? And he's like, yeah, man, like I saw this. And that's very interesting to me, that there are sort of these weird hints to like
a universe has been established.
Well, like, did he face a zombie outbreak during the Indochina War? Because he does, like, him being like, no, we gotta amputate. Like, that doesn't line up with him being caught in, like, the rest of this, like, fugue flashback state.
He hasn't had time to see this in the last hour.
Because
he just killed every zombie that he saw.
Yeah, so it's like, for him to say that, it alludes to, like, that this might be some sort of like French bioweapon or something, and like maybe
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
maybe they used it in that war or something.
That's fucking interesting. I like that a lot.
Because it's this weird thing where he keeps calling them all this slur over and over, as if they're all tantamount to the people he fought in that war. But then he also has like the most genre awareness of anyone else in the film.
He's seen a zombie movie before.
Yeah, and it's a trip because everyone else is so like out of it. But it does raise the question of like, did he see this in that war?
Yeah.
Don't say the Z word.
Yeah. And I love how they never there's no intention to explain what's going on.
Yeah, it's just happening.
You're plopped in.
They're just zombies, and maybe this happened before, which is like such an interesting wrinkle. But yeah, so he's like, hey, we gotta cut your leg off, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
No, I'll shoot you in the face.
Yeah, and he's like, all right.
How about I blow your fucking face off?
Yeah, and he's like, all right, fine. I guess we'll just have to kill you later when you turn, basically, is what he says.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it seems like the two characters, him and Tony, who got bit, like, last forever before they turn.
They last a long time.
Yeah. But in reality, it's probably only like a couple hours.
True, yeah.
And it is still like the comparison of like the Czech and that other guy. One got his throat snapped immediately, and the other got his throat ripped out. So like they died right away.
Mm-hmm. These guys just got ill.
Yeah, they're not long for this world.
They spend most of their time dying in the legitimate sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so he's like, hey, the super has some weapons downstairs. Like, that's probably our best bet, is to get downstairs, get those weapons, and figure out where to go. And at this point, they think Aurora and Tony are both dead. Mm-hmm. And then we cut back to Aurora fighting that woman. And I think Tony is just, like, sort of cowering off somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere else.
He's like just not being helpful, and she's just having ridiculous, like, Trinity in the Matrix-esque fight with this.
Just totally badass fight.
It's wild, son.
It's ridiculous, like, having to go hand-to-hand with a zombie, but it's like, damn, I guess if you really, really had to, like...
Everybody headbutts in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They lean with the head. It's like, that's not the smartest decision.
Yeah, she's like, quit moving around so much.
Yeah, she's like annoyed while fighting this woman.
Yeah, she's pissed off. And then she finishes by dropping the fridge on top of the zombie.
Hilarious,
absolutely murders her.
Yeah.
And then
fucking Wizard of Oz is that bitch.
And then when she like moves on to the other room where Tony is, there's like a dead zombie in that room, so he was having his fight in that room apparently.
Yeah, and that one's holding a shotgun, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a person who killed himself when all this started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and shit, I forgot about that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's also in the room. So, like, probably the sound of that and everything.
Yeah, and she's like, get the gun from that guy. And then there's this, like, kind of longish shot of the body with the gun. And it's like, I don't know if I want to go over there.
Yeah. You get it.
Yeah. But she ends up seeing that he's bitten. And she tries to cuff him. And he ends up knocking her out and cuffing her and leaving her for dead, basically.
Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Fucking crazy.
And he ends up meeting up with the other group, and, like, right when he meets up with them, Aurora walks in and just fucking shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
And and it's just so great.
Which causes trust issues.
Everyone's just like, whoa, what the fuck?
Like, I know you're upset.
I think Ade was kind of like, she's cool, though.
Yeah, he liked it. He thought it was cool.
That's respectable. She's like, he tells lies. That's why I killed him. He's like, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I get it,
Yeah, because it's so fucked up, too, because it is just, like, Revolin's whole situation, like, I don't know. To just try and, like, blame it on her and then, like, spread rumors about it is just, like, so...
Yeah, he's such a fucking scumbag.
It's just so terrible. Like, there's no purpose to that. What does that achieve in any way, especially when you're supposed to be going in here to do this thing together? Mm-hmm. He just sucks. And so now...
I was just thinking about that. I don't know if we root for really anyone in this movie.
Not
like, it's really hard to find a fucking...
Only scene by scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
like,
throughout.
That's the funniest
Wes,
thing. That's
Wes
so
is like the only one who's not just like a totally bad person, but he's a crooked enough cop to go on a vengeance mission.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So the colors are very fucking gray here.
Yeah.
And there is that when they're all hanging out in the old perv, his name is Renee. Mm-hmm. And when they're hanging out in his apartment, they're having a bit of a philosophical discussion. And Wes is still being like, we're the good guys. We're trying to do something here. And Renee's like, no, you came here because you're like us. You're a criminal. You want to do bad shit.
Yeah, I love that.
And Wes is like,
of dialogue.
Maybe that is why I came here, because I want to shoot people in the face.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
basically saying, like, I've seen the horrors of man, and you are no better.
It's fucking hard. That's a good line, dude.
I have other line written down from that discussion. Religion is just death insurance.
Fuck yeah. I love that.
One.
That's so good.
I like that a lot, too.
Fuck yeah. The dialogue is actually really, really excellently written.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So before, right before they actually meet up again, Renee, Jose, and Bola are with Wasem and Adwale, and there's the woman that we saw earlier in the movie at the very beginning. Now she's a zombie.
The janitor question mark?
Yeah, and they like kneecap her and get her down and just start like toying with her and start just like being hella weird and sexual, and Jose just starts being like, what do you think it's like to fuck one of them? And Renee's like, ooh, I bet she wants my big dick, and they're just like being hella weird and crass.
She had a decapitated head with her that she was carrying, and then they're like trying to get her to like French kiss the head.
Yeah, she was exactly. She was like holding it by the scalp, and she's just like growling, and you get this weird sense that like it still has enough humanity to realize how horrible this is, but they don't,
Yeah, there's a little bit of a like sad soundtrack going on, just a bit.
Yeah. It's very intriguing.
It's fucked up.
I feel like this is one of the most original zombie movies in that aspect, because it like kind of approaches that subject, and you're just like, well, that's fucking weird. I've never seen that kind of like explored like this before, like, I mean, it's like a childish fucking desire to like toy with something, that's like fucking dying and shit.
Yeah.
Dead girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you really get the sense that like Renee has done every horrible thing under the sun.
Yes.
Yeah. It feels like at the heart, like one of the biggest statements in this film is like the horrors of war and the depravity that you're willing to and able to go to, like when you're in these situations, and also the question of like, is that necessary to break your mind to the point where you can be like, yeah, my superior said we had to burn this village down with everyone in the buildings, and I guess that's just war. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of bad stuff that in all those wars, Vietnam, Korea, Indochina, like it definitely says a lot that that's a certain region of the world where a lot of these similar atrocities are committed by Europeans and Americans and stuff. Like it was just this really no holds barred, when it's tough, like I don't like cops, I don't like soldiers, but I can't help but feel bad for people who are tricked with the promise of a better life and an education and money, but then you become Renee because you saw and did a bunch of horrible things because you're being manipulated, and
1,000%. I 100% agree.
And it just seems like that's a big thing here. It's just like these are the depths that you're able to go to, and like the cops do these things because of revenge, and the criminals do these things for survival. And then now that you have the cops in this survival situation, like how far will they go? And all of them just like become such worse people over this incredibly short span of time.
God, it's so true. God, that's such a good read on this, dude.
In that taunting scene, I think it takes place before Aurora came back.
It's right before they come back,
and the people who are not participating are Ade and OS. The leaders of both groups. And then Ade's the one that pulls it back. Like, he grabs Bola and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? You think this is funny?
Yeah.
And he shoots the zombie and puts her out of her misery.
and then he tells Bola, "You would do this to her after the things they did to us in South Africa or in Nigeria." Sorry, I don't know why I said. But yeah, in Nigeria, the things that they did to us in Nigeria, and you would do this to them. Do you want me to tell them? Do you want me to tell them what they did to us? Which just heavily implies that they've been raped and molested and every manner of horrible thing. Basically, just being like, these crimes persist today. It's not just the past. And like, even me, when I was just saying that, like, just to say like, oh, the most horrible things happened here at this time. Like, no, the most horrible things still happen all the time everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you have to make a decision every time to do better.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that this movie addresses these things in such a very pointed way is not. It was not like, again, you're already getting thrown off by it's also a zombie movie, and it's like, oh wait, we also have some shit to say. It's like, this movie is fucking phenomenal, dude.
None of these characters are living up to the moral code, but some of them are giving it some thought.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great way of putting that.
And it's like,
but Renee is not.
And it seems like
fuck that fool. 1,000%.
It seems like that was the whole point of what Renee said to Wes, was like, we've thought about it, and we've chosen to eschew it. You need to decide one way or the other. And we've thrown away our like morality and humanity. Yeah. But like you have to make that choice to do that. Otherwise, like, you're just sitting on the fence.
And he's like, can we talk about this later? Because right now...
Exactly. We got some shit going down.
I also wrote down, Coke for everyone.
Everyone gets tooted again. And Renee's like, oh, don't mind if I do.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this is nothing compared to the shit I used to do.
Yeah, exactly. Stop talking shit. It's like, I don't doubt that at all, sir.
And of course... Renee wouldn't be Renee if he didn't. No one was paying attention. He flipped the zombie woman over and opened her shirt.
And then when they look at him, he sticks his tongue out and he's like, ha ha, like, so proud of himself.
Disgusting,
man. And no one has shit to say about that.
Everyone's just like, whatever, man. You're a body, and we need it. So let's not argue.
You shared your peach schnapps with us, so
exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah. They all got a little drunky.
Oh my god.
So they meet up. Tony gets killed. Everyone's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then they get to the elevator that they've been looking for, and Bola and Jose pull their guns on everyone, take all of their weapons, and leave them for dead. And this is actually when Renee brings up the Super's cache of weapons.
Oh, right.
And then as they go and get the weapons, he has like a light machine gun, like a military, like huge. High capacity
shit that he has in his place.
He has some wild shit down there. So they all get a bunch of like awesome gear that they need now for the finale as we move into Act 3. And they walk through like the lobby of the place of the apartment building, and they see just a huge wall of bodies just outside, pressed up against it.
Fucking wild. That's such a good scene.
And they're all
such a good shot.
They're all just like, holy shit. And as they go down into the car park, hilarious. I just read the word car park. I would never say the word car park. As they go into the parking garage.
The car park.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Ade goes in.
We'll forgive it this time.
Ade goes in and he finds like their stuff. He keeps finding like hints of their stuff, like their weapons, and a trail of blood. And he comes around the corner, and Jose is eating Bola's face, and he's just torn apart. And he just unloads on him with the shotgun over and over and over. But there's like a moment where he has like, I forget what he has, like a crowbar or something. And there's a second where he like considers just beating him to death, but then decides that
like,
he's just going to shoot him 12 times with this loud ass shotgun.
Yeah, I put like the tension and stuff, like the relationship between Ade and Bolo were like, that was probably my favorite pairing in the movie. That was like my favorite like aspect of all the characters' relationships.
They've been through hell together.
Exactly. Like it was you could
feel
feel that they've been through the trenches and shit, and like now it was all for this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy.
He was gonna protect Bola all their lives.
Yeah, it's so, oh man. Yeah,
and he's like, you killed my fucking brother.
Exactly. That's what made that scene hit a little harder, I think. That was super fucking well done.
It was like he willingly chose to throw away his life. You know? And it just ends up being, you know, it doesn't work out the way that he had foresaw it in that moment. He was just, he didn't care anymore and was ready to die. And everyone else comes out and sees how fucked it is. And
he just keeps yelling, I'm a Nigerian, motherfucker. I'm a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? This shit's hard, bro.
Yeah. He got that pride.
He's such a badass.
I love him, yeah. Yeah, okay, well, I'm actually... I'll run that back then. Ade's probably my favorite character to root for then in this movie,
He's pretty much the true hero.
So then we get the, like, standout climactic moment of the movie.
God, the
moment I spend the whole movie waiting to look at the person next to me reacting to. So...
That's what I did with DDA. I was like, here it comes.
Yeah, exactly. Rubbing your hands.
So there's zombies coming from outside of the parking garage. Yeah. And then there's zombies coming from inside of the apartment building. And Wes just tells them to go. He just tells everyone to go, like, screw it. And as they're all leaving, I believe he had actually just gotten bit before that too. In there's like a small...
On his hand.
There's like a small scuffle that they have before the bigger horde is coming.
Yeah,
and
when they were trying to hold the door shut, he got his hand bit.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so he's like, fuck it, I'm not long for this world. All of you get out of here. And he has his 2 guns, and he has like a little crowbar and everything.
And he's going to hold off like 2,000 zombies.
Exactly.
And this man just turns on infinite ammo. and he just runs forward, and the way he just shoulder checks like 10 different zombies, and they just like don't know what
linebacker, bro.
They just like don't even know what to do. And then he just starts killing them and jumps up on top of the car, and it's just like this super sick, like
that shot is so good.
It's a mosh pit. It's just him like firing into the mosh pit randomly, and eventually he gets overtaken, but not for quite a while. He like choke slams a zombie
he has
at
a
one
machete.
point.
Yeah, he's fucking him up, bro.
He
That's
chucks
right.
the guns into the. He's like you, and he throws a gun at someone's head, and then he pulls out the machete, and he's just hacking away at them forever.
Dude,
that right there is like an insane practical effect to just like be chopping off like their fingertips. Like that's quite intricate.
What a fucking great detail to throw in there, though.
Yeah,
it's like, of course it's gonna happen, but we don't usually see that in a fucking
it's clearly
scene.
not CGI. There was when he kills Joe, because he shoots him a bunch of times, and then he bashes his face in, because he doesn't shoot him in the head, so the shooting doesn't kill him. And then he just like bashes his face in against the pillar. The CGI of his bashed in face was actually like an incredible artistic choice. Like normally you would be like, this you've been doing so much practical. This is a face. Why would this not be practical? But it worked so well and looked so good and like blended so well into the visual like language of the film that it was like, all right, man, hell yeah.
No, absolutely.
Like,
it's very true. If you can use CGI sparingly to like accent the movie, not lean on it. I feel like where it has a totally valid place in the movie for sure.
I wish I could remember when they say it. It's Bola who says it. I just have it in quotes here because I was like, where was the CGI moment? I have to check my notes. And right above the CGI note is in quotes, they will see my black ass as a dick garage.
He was like, I can't be going to prison.
That's right. It's disgusting.
Because it's not going to work out. Oh yeah, that's when they were in Renee's apartment, and they turned on the news for a minute, and they're like, the news was like, there are escape routes. Like we're getting people out of the city. If you can get to this location, we're taking refugees, you know. Mm-hmm. And they were like, the plan was to leave this building and go to the Capitol. And Ade was basically like, no, I'm not going to where the authorities are. You think that's going to work out for me?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
They will see my black ass as a dick garage. There's like some very colorful expressions about cocks in this movie.
Yeah.
So he's doing his whole last stand, and he's doing like a great job holding them back. But of course, some are getting past him.
Yeah.
And then we go into hands down the best set design of this film. These like cramped, like labyrinthine basement corridors that have all these like creepy wooden doors off to the sides and shit. Yes. Like I have no idea what the like practical use of like what would be in those doors. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I guess just different passages to like the underbelly of the building,
but it was like storage areas or something.
Yeah, it's just so scary though. It's so scary. Like imagining being in there would be so uncomfortable.
It's a horror movie set.
And this is
sure.
who's left now. It's Renee, Aurora, and Ade.
And
I hate that. Yeah. I hate that Renee makes it this long.
Well, that's
God damn it.
And as they're running, Renee just keeps turning around and just blasting down the hallway,
Jesus
and it's
Christ,
so
just
sick.
Mowing them down.
It's so great how like several of them get hit with the bullets so hard that they just like do backflips. Mm-hmm. And some of them try to jump because they're just seeing all the other zombies die, so they're just like, I don't know, maybe jumping is useful. So you see them like jump, and then their torso gets ripped apart before their head does.
Yeah, it's so good.
And he's just tearing through them,
piling them up.
Yeah,
and they're
talking about infinite ammo.
Yeah, totally. And they're just running, and also that gun would be so hot. And they're just running and gunning for like quite some time, and Aurora falls behind them for a second, I think, and then catches back up. And when they finally get to like the last security door that'll like lead them outside, like to an isolated part of the building, the door is just like hella heavy and won't open, and they're trying hella hard to get it open, and Renee is just like holding that trigger down, just blasting like literally hundreds of zombies. And he's just like,
he put the cheat code in.
What's that?
He put the cheat code in.
That's right. GTA all weapons. And he's just blasting at them, and they're fighting with the door trying to get it open, and he runs out of ammo at like an okay time. Like there's, they're not getting completely overran. Yeah. You can still see more way down the hallway, but like they have a second, and he pulls out the grenade, and he's like, "Oh, I knew I wasn't gonna die in some old folks' home. I knew it wasn't gonna be some boring death for me. It's gotta be a death with balls." And he just
this motherfucker, bro.
He has the grenade, and he pulls the pin, but he's holding the spoon. And they all jump on top of him, and they're like tearing into him, and he just like looks up at them, and Ade's just like, no, don't, just like screaming at him as he's trying to open the door, and he just looks at him and lets it fly, lets go of the spoon so it shoots out, and they get the door open at the last second, and it just explodes and goes firing.
He puts the grenade in a zombie's mouth.
Yeah. He puts it in his mouth. You're right.
And that zombie is the director.
Is it?
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
Funny. Yeah. That's cool.
Damn.
That's
See,
awesome.
leave it to Evelyn. She's like, we
watched the making of, and it was super fun.
Yeah.
He's a really enthusiastic guy. Well, one of the two directors, Yannick, he's really hyper.
Yeah, super fucking.
His catchphrase is badass.
He dipped into the coke for sure.
Yeah, that was real coke on set.
That's amazing.
Isn't there? Did we talk about the part before they bust out of there? I think they go in a room where they find the pantry. This is the odd thing about the zombies. They like stash bodies.
Oh yeah. They have like a second where Wes has bought them time, like at the beginning of that. You're so right, and that's so crucial to the film. So thank you so much. But yeah, right before they start running through the corridors, they like walk into this back section, like the basement behind the parking garage. And when they're in like the basement proper, they just find all the corpses, and they're like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" And one of them is like, "This is their pantry. This is where they just leave all the extra food."
Yeah. I've never seen that happen in a zombie movie, but it's really cool.
Yeah. It was a cool touch. They're smarter than they think. They're not completely like mindless and soulless.
I love that. Yeah.
But so as the grenade goes off, because of the tight nature of all of these hallways and the blast force, it just shoots flame all the way through the foundations of this building.
Yeah.
Which has to mean that the building burns down after this.
Yeah, I would assume
you know, like
for
especially
sure.
with all the bodies, like those bodies for sure caught fire.
Caught on fire, exactly.
Yeah,
yep.
and so now it's just Ade and Aurora, and they're standing in this like open, like public area, like square behind the building. And it's like
it's the next morning,
right. Crisp hours of the morning, and everything seems like so far away.
Yeah,
but you can still kind of hear like zombies in the background and like all the chaos going on, and Ade's like catching his breath and like, oh my god, I can't believe all that shit, and she just cold blood murders him, achieves her directive, gets the vengeance that she sought, and we hear all of the zombies getting closer and closer and closer, and she's just like, I don't give a fuck. I did what I came to do.
Yeah, exactly. Job's done.
Cut to black, and that's the end.
That's the end, baby. That shit. Mic drop ending for goddamn sure. I love that shit. It's so because it's like
quick and dirty.
Exactly. Like they kind of departed it with like everyone just fucking dies, but
but you weren't rooting for anyone really.
So they really went full departed.
It's so interesting that it's like such a like on the surface kind of silly movie, but like the acting is so good, the set design is so good, the direction is so good. Like,
it's funny because you see, like IFC Midnight was the ones who kind of like put this out. I guess at least that's what it says on the DVD. But like you see those types of like ilk of movies, and you're just kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to be impressed by this one.
Yeah.
You know, like I was kind of just, like you said, I was expecting a fun, like, action zombie movie. That was kind of the pace that I was going into this looking for. And then it was like, I got that, but I got so much more.
Yeah. And I think it's very interesting for me doing a lot of these movies that I watched in my teenage years and seeing now where, like, there were movies where I knew things were going over my head. And there are movies where I thought I had a proper read on it, you know?
Yeah.
But then this is also one of the movies where, you know, similar to like an American slasher movie, the 9th in its series kind of thing, where you're just like, this is just a fun time. And that's what I used to think. But now, you know, like it's sort of a testament to like that my mind has become more analytical as I've gotten older, and I just have more context. But just to look at this and be like, this is about the horror of wars. This is about the lengths that men will go to in these horrific situations to survive. And it really does kind of like counterpoint that to have Aurora, the one woman in the situation. She's the only one who keeps her mind on what they're actually there for. And
eye on the prize.
And I wouldn't say that she's single-minded in a negative way, because she helps everyone survive. She's and moves the plot forward. Yeah, and she doesn't hold the plot back by being single-minded the way that like a lot of other characters in other movies do, where you're like, oh my god, shut up and just listen to what the other people are saying.
She didn't argue the point. She like brought it up once and no one was listening, and she was like, she made the decision privately, and you can see her make that decision. She's like, when she has a quiet moment when she wakes up after having been knocked out by Tony, and she realizes like absolutely no one is on her side. She's like, okay, like, well, it's just me.
Cool.
I don't need to, worry about anyone else but me.
They'll get in between
when
me
she's
and the
pulling
zombies,
glass out
though.
of her face, which actually we kind of went past because that's how he knocks her out. He hits her in the face with a glass.
Jesus.
And then she
I think
goes.
he pushes her into a mirror.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he like shoves her, like she hits the mirror with the side of her face.
That's right.
And she fucking did that stunt, by the way.
That's gnarly.
Damn,
Yeah,
bro.
she fucking bounced off of that
Fucking
mirror.
badass.
And then she has to go to another mirror and pull the glass out of her face. Yeah, there is like that somber moment where she's like dressing her wounds, where she's like, Tony's dead, Ade's dead, Wes, he hasn't fucked up yet. But
Yeah, and she tells Tony when she's trying to cuff him, she's like, the only thing that matters is this. And she's like, touches
the
her
baby. Yeah.
stomach. She's like, well, I'm going to have this baby. It's at some point. Not for a while. She's very skinny. But yeah, she's like, it's me.
Yeah,
It's all about me.
Yep.
Fuck all y'all.
Yeah, and it's funny.
I mean,
it's funny how she like wanted to survive for the baby's sake, but then at the end was just like, well,
it doesn't seem much. Yeah, that she's very maternal.
yeah, it's like as long as Wes and sort of to a certain extent Renee were alive, as long as it's not just her and Ade, she seemed to be willing to like move it along for the sake of their survival. But I think also that like ultimate, we got out, we beat so many odds to get here, and now we're just still fucked. Of like they can still just hear thousands of zombies all around them.
This is just the beginning.
The city has gone through an entire night of this. How many of them are out there? Now you want me to like get to the capital? Like, yeah, fuck this. I quit. Shoots him in the head and
I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I'm done with this team up.
Some gangster shit, bro.
P.S. Aurora is played by Claude Perron, who I thought she looked familiar. I looked her up. She's in Amélie. She plays Nino's boss, who works at the sex toy store. She's in the like back room, like sexy dancing, and he's like, "I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. I'm gonna go find this girl I like," and she's like topless in the room. She's like, "What? I can't hear you." That was her. Yeah,
that's how funny.
And then when
so
Amélie she shows up where Nino works, and it's just Claude there, and she's like, "What can you tell me about Nino?" And she's like, "Well, he's a really funny guy. He records people's laughs. He takes pictures of footprints in the rain." And she's just this like side character.
So funny.
Who's
She's like super bubbly. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's a great character.
Yeah, but did we have a question for this week?
Oh man.
Or do we want to rate it first?
Let's rate it first, because the only question I can think is, how much do you hate cops?
This much. I mean, for me, initially watching this, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a solid 4 out of 6 for me, because it was like I felt like action movie. It doesn't really have much going on under the layers, but like, as we've discussed it, as always, like, it bumps that fucking rating up, dude. Like, leave it to Skeptik to bring a fucking like sleeping fucking banger, bro. Like,
it's so funny too, because like I said, I was like, well, this will be a fun one. This will be a nice, easy one.
Yeah, dude, and it was a lot of fucking fun. This was a lot of fun to do. Like, this episode, it was a lot of fun. But like, I think now I can firmly say it's at a 5 out of 6 for me, because I don't think all of it holds up. I definitely think I could have done without less of the fucking slurs and shit, but I guess whatever, we have to be edgy in the 2000s.
I completely agree. That's, as time goes on, I have like less tolerance for that kind of stuff in movies, and it sucks how often you're
even
like,
if it's supposedly how the character feels.
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
Okay, but
yeah,
I get it, but just we don't have to see it all the time, or hear it all the time. No, but I think that's kind of it. But honestly, like as we were discussing, like, it's just something that it's completely unexpected as a plot, and it's such an original and unique thing like it exists as a unique thing inside a genre that we think we've seen everything from, essentially. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and this is also supposedly, according to the directors, who may or may not be on coke, the first French zombie movie. It's 2009.
Okay. Yeah, well, we have to go back and like,
I haven't seen another
cross-reference this, but I can't say it right now off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of an example that makes them wrong, but I don't disbelieve it exists.
Yeah,
exactly.
in the making of, when he's hyping up all these extras, and he's like, you guys, you should be so proud of yourselves. No one has done this in France before. Mm-hmm. And just like, dude, watching the making of, to some degree, like, raised my opinion of this movie. Just like watching like the effort they put into this, and like all the enthusiasm, and just like they just put ads out to get the extras in there for that crazy parking garage scene. And they're just like random people. They've never been in a movie before.
That's wild.
And they all showed up like early as fuck in the morning. And they all got their blood applied, and like there were scenes where the extras were just like really just goofing around and be like, we're zombies, haha. But in that scene, in between takes, everyone was silent, listening, ready.
That's fucking awesome,
and they said that was their favorite day of filming. They were like, it was a blessing. It was the best day of filming. Everyone took it so seriously. They all brought their A games.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you could definitely feel the love that they put into that particular scene. You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't feel like it. Like, that's the poster and stuff, but it doesn't feel like wasted. It doesn't feel like it
fits in with the rest. It's just like the climax for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna sit firmly at a 5 out of 6 for me. But I fucking love this movie. I'm super proud to have it in my collection right now. So, yeah, what did you guys think?
I'm gonna say it went from like a 3 to a 4 for me, because like I started off being like, I don't know, this is like and some of the elements that didn't are sort of like old at this point,
problematic.
Yeah, and the character, like on first viewing, like the character motivations kind of bounced off of me. Yeah, I was like,
hard same.
Does this make sense? It does now.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, but like on a first viewing, if I had only watched it once, I would have been like, I don't really understand why those characters did what they did, but it makes sense now.
There's a lot of edgelording going on.
And, that's exactly
and that's why that's like what I remembered was like Jose fighting two zombies hand to hand, and like the Wes on top of the car, and Renee with the machine gun. Like the big like action set piece, like edgy kind of stuff. So I was like, and I guess maybe the benefit of like time apart of like that's what stands out, and it is like sort of a good thing. It's almost like a credit to this movie that I had forgotten that there was more to it, because now when I revisit it, I get to like, it's so hard to relive a first viewing or a first experience with something, but in a way it's like it tricks you at the beginning into thinking it's just an action movie. And I only remembered that for the last
decade. Because the action is so good. The action is strong.
Yeah, exactly. The tension and the drama build
the heart
really
underneath it is, surprisingly strong. Especially when, like we've said before, we're all proponents of like, we don't have to like the people in the movie for the movie to be good. But the movie has to be good for us to be okay with no one in the movie being likable.
That's very true.
So, like, I totally...
I brought up The Departed for a reason. Like, that is legitimately, like, no one fucking
the best movie where everyone's a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single person. Even the psychiatrist girlfriend who seems like she's, like, the most, like, pure the outside character. Well, oops, Departed spoilers. Anyway,
I haven't seen it.
Oh wow! Okay, so
I don't know what you're talking about though, so it's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything out of context. But so I would probably give it a 5 as well. You know, it's fun. I really enjoy it.
It's not undeniably fun.
It's not trying to be high art. It has a point, and it makes some statements, but it's not trying to be high art. But yeah, it's, you know, at its core, it's two guys who love this stuff coming together to create it, and, you know, bringing in all these other people and having just this like awesome community experience.
They were fans of the genre who like wanted to contribute something to the genre, and I appreciate that.
And they did push it forward with things like the pantry and like
yep. I loved that. Again, like, these are things that you do not see in these movies, but it is a new perspective. It's super fresh.
I have seen stuff like that in video games, but not before the Horde. Far enough past it, like contemporary games.
I think they mentioned that in the making of. They were like, we have, you know, this stuff only comes up in games. Like this, the film world hasn't quite gotten here yet.
Games have more time with you, and they also need like mechanical things. So then you get this sort of like in like this game Dying Light, a big thing is during the day there's not as many zombies out because they're all hiding from the light inside, and they're all like asleep during the day.
Nice.
So at night it's more dangerous to be outside, but it's more safe to go inside to the buildings that they nest in because they're all outside hunting.
It's crazy.
Right.
So
it's crazy.
You have to be wise about your decisions.
Yeah, it's very tactical.
So that feels like sort of an evolution of that same sort of train of, because you do see that thing in those games where like you're in this nest and there are a bunch of bodies piled up, and it is because they nest here, so they come here and they eat. So it's like, you know,
hell yeah.
Someone saw this
cool.
movie and mentioned it to someone at some point, and it cross-contaminated into games. But I just
the lore that works gets picked up, and it just becomes part of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I will say here, so you mentioned that Yannick was an uncredited zombie, Evelyn. Rocher was the decapitated head.
Oh, funny.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Trip the fuck
nice,
out.
the other director.
Yeah, so they both showed up as dead/undead.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get in the makeup, dude. Like, I actually was a zombie extra in a friend's music video, and we shot for the entire day. It was a fucking long ass shoot. It was a lot of fun though. Like, it was the most fucking fun. Like, everybody got to, again, it was just hanging out. It was just chilling in between everybody getting their makeup. There was like 2 makeup artists, I want to say, for like the entire crew. And so it was like, it was a lot of just waiting around, but once we finally got into it, like, I'm actually kind of prominently featured in the video, like, in the beginning. It's kind of fun.
Nice.
But, like, yeah, it's like, they had us running on some fucking train tracks and shit, and I was like, I would never be doing this shit. My fat ass, I'm not doing fucking that, but throw some makeup on me, like, throw some blood on me, like, I'll do it.
There's something about, like, zombie scenes in particular. I wasn't there for this, but there was a zombie film that was made in Columbus, Ohio, that a lot of my friends were involved in, and they had this scene where there's one woman holed up in a house, like a farmhouse, and then the zombies like swarm the house, and they were just getting the scene. They were getting, you know, just zombies all around the house, and she's on the roof with a shotgun, and she's just like.
Oh, cool.
She's up there. She's on top of this. I think it must be a 1-story house.
Yeah. Let's hope.
And they got so into it as a swarm that they got on the roof.
Oh shit.
That was not the plan. They literally just swarmed the house and ended up on the roof, and they were like reaching for her. And I'm sure the director was like, "Holy shit, yes."
Fuck it, keep rolling.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's just something about just getting in the vibe.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That collective, collective thought, like riot mindset of
because you're not you. You're
a mindless fucking zombie. Yeah, exactly. It's super fun. That's what I think. It's just fun to play around. I think that's what you kind of see in this. And I think, we've mentioned before, we're going to do One Cut of the Dead, right? I think that was one. I think it's even on the list, I want to say, as we speak. But
my friend Adam has recommended that movie to me.
That movie is fucking phenomenal. But again, as like filmmakers, you can see the love that people put into a movie that goes in, like a zombie movie that like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun. And yeah, One Cut is a lot of fucking fun. Like, again, like, talk about a really unique and also within the genre. It's a very creative zombie movie.
Yeah.
I'll say that much, but we're definitely doing that one day.
Excellent.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. So I do have my question for this week.
Bet, let's do it.
All right.
Have you ever had to, like, not had to, but have you ever been in a situation where you hated someone and you had to, like, put that aside, or, like, you realized that it was, like, unnecessary? Or, like, just having to, like, examine that hatred on, like, you know what I mean? Like, being put into a situation where you have to introspect on that. Like having to do a class project, like, with somebody that you fucking hate. You know
every day. Every day. Every day at work.
That's just work for you now, huh?
Yes. I can't think of a more, like, you know, historical example off the top of my head, but, like, currently I am tested daily.
Yeah, no, I could definitely. Yeah, that's a tough one because I don't think
I want to do it more justice, but I'd have to think about it for a while.
that one's one I would have to think about. But I definitely have been in situations where, like, yeah, I don't like you, but we got to get this job done.
Yeah,
like,
which is, you know,
like, definitely can identify with the fucking feeling of that.
I guess to specify it even more, like, has it specifically made you realize, like, you know what, this person's not so bad, and, like, maybe
have you had a change of heart as a result of that?
Yeah. Like, I know this guy Patrick James, shout out, who's my friend now, but when we, like, first knew each other for, like, the first few years, we just hated each other, and it was just very mutual, and, like, we would, like, not like we were, like, trying to fight each other or anything.
You
but,
just
like,
were not into each other.
You had a disdain.
Yeah, we would be, like, argumentative towards each other, even, like just openly, just be like, yeah, fuck you, dude, you know. And just
beautiful start to a friendship.
Just at some point, I don't even, like, really remember why, but at some point, I just, like, really thought about it, and I think I approached him, but I was just like, you know what it is, man? It's like we're just way too much like each other. And I think it is that classic thing where, like, you see another person that's so much like you that you fucking hate them because of all your own issues. And he was like, "Wow, I think you're totally right." And we've been cool ever since then. But that was just awesome. It was just like this very strange, frank discussion of, like, we hate each other, but there's no reason to. And we were both this is stupid.
1,000%. I mean, like, yeah, like, that's something that I've had to learn, like, later. I think that's maturity, though. I think that's kind of, as you get older, you just realize that it's not worth being fucking upset at everybody all the time. You know, like, I don't know. For me, I don't hold grudges a lot. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm not very...
I do.
Got you.
Me too.
I will not cross either one of you then. But, like, I'm a very, like, laid back kind of person. Like, a lot of things just kind of bounce off me, so I don't really hold grudges. But I've had, again, that came with maturity because I was tired of being.
Yeah, you have to experience a lot of things to decide how you know, react.
Yeah, exactly. Which I feel like even the characters in this movie showed a lot of, like, well, not a lot of them, but, like, some of them showed maturity in the regard that they were going toward making the right steps towards, like, being like, I'm not gonna be shitty to you. I know we have to, like, you know, do this thing. Yeah. And maybe we'll grab a drink after. I don't know. But, like, you know, it wasn't like they weren't, like, fully complete fucking assholes about it, you know, and I feel like that
it wasn't nonstop backstabbing.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that, but just to bring it back to real life, I think that just kind of comes with maturity. Like I said, you just kind of decide, you know, I don't know if I want to put all this energy toward, like, just fucking be upset, just being upset.
That's a thing I'm trying to learn. Like, I'm surrounded with so many good people, and I'm often the one that's not having a good time. I have generally I struggle with having a shitty attitude, and I am aware that it is me.
Yeah,
so I'm working on it.
I don't know, man.
I'm just a very grumpy person.
I don't know. Some people suck though. Like,
I think that's why we just, like, kind of naturally gravitated to each other, because I identify with everything being said right now.
Ditto, all the way.
I hate that feeling of, like, going somewhere to do something with people, then immediately being like, I really wish I was alone, and then having to be like, be like, no. you are here for a purpose, whether that purpose is hanging out or like an artistic purpose or whatever. Like you came here because you wanted to.
You don't need to be shitty.
Yeah, snap out of this and have a good time.
Yeah.
It's just weird mental patterns that we've created in our whole lives, you know?
It's about growth, baby, and that's what this show is about.
That's right. It's about blood. It's about guts. It's about growth.
And it's about family.
That's right.
Always about family.
Somehow, a lot of our movies have been about family.
They have a whole discussion in this film about family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, about like chosen family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Aurora's like, oh, they won't hurt me. I'm part of the family after all.
That's so fucking funny,
that was pretty
dude.
sick when she kills Tony and they're like, why would you do that? He's family. And she's like, yeah, fuck that piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And then they're all upset. And then, he won't kill me. I'm family.
I'm family.
She's just like, hey, guess what, dipshit? I've weaponized your logic against you.
Exactly.
But
and if you want to join our family, nice segue.
Hey.
Yeah, really nice.
Go ahead and find us on the socials. We are the Devil's Work Pod on Instagram and the Devil's Work Podcast on Facebook. You can email us your thoughts, your feelings on any of the movies that we've covered, or even like ones that we're gonna do next when we post them up on there. Just join the discussion. All we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, we love talking as much as we do, but
leave us 5 stars, please. That does a lot for us. And if you want to leave us a review, please just let us know how excited you are that Queen Elizabeth is dead. That's all that we ask. I just really wanted to date this episode.
So good.
No cops, no fuckboys, no monarchs.
No monarchs.
Is that on a scale of 1 to 10?
So good, dude.
Hey, if I get one rating that's not a 10.
Exactly. There you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I think next week we're gonna be back with Evelyn's pick. Oh, actually, no.
It's gonna be your pick.
Up. Excuse me.
We're gonna record some stuff out of order.
Yeah. That was gonna stay. Okay. That was gonna stay in the background behind the scenes, but oops.
No,
It's okay. This is real life.
We're showing our ass.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna be back next week. Though, when you hear this, it'll be 2 weeks after, because we're bi-weekly, baby. We're gonna be back with Swallow. This is a fucking great movie. I don't know if you guys have seen this one before.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
But I wanted to see it for a long time.
It's fucking amazing.
Every time I search for a Swallow movie, I'm getting these.
You're gonna have to. Yeah.
What do you get?
What you got there, buddy? Let me see your hands.
They're both in the frame.
But yeah, we're gonna get to Swallow. That movie, I saw it during the lockdown, and it fucking ruined a Sunday.
Hell yeah!
It was fantastic though. I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
So let our Sundays be ruined, and yours remain for the Lord. Follow the Devil's Work Podcast.
God damn it.
And become a member of the Horde.
Yeah.